Dear students, let us discuss uh, two topics in this video. One is the Taenia solium structure of or the morphology of Taenia solium, and then the reproductive system of Taenia solium. Taenia solium is also called as the pork worm because the pork is the flesh of the pig because it do inhabit the flesh of the pig, so it is so called. As far as its systematic position is concerned, it belongs to phylum Platyhelminth, class Cystoda, subclass Eucystoda, order Taenioidea, genus Taenia, Solium. Taenia solium is a digenetic parasite as it completes its life cycle in two hosts, so digenetic. The primary host is male, whereas the secondary host is pig, goat, cattle, horse, or monkey. It is present all over the world, so called the cosmopolitan in distribution. Wherever you will find the pig is consumed and domesticated, there are always chances that you may find Taenia solium over there. Color of the Taenia solium is whitish, creamish, grayish, or yellowish. This is the Taenia solium, the morphology of the Taenia solium. Its body is divisible into three major parts. The anterior one is called scolex. Next to scolex, there is elongated small portion called neck, and next to neck, all of this portion is called as strobila. So body has three divisions: scolex, necks, and strobila. Size of the teniosolium is 1 to 5 meters long, and you can see that its shape is like a ribbon or tape and is very elongated. It is extremely narrow at the anterior end, whereas it is broader at the posterior end. So far as its scolex is concerned, we shall discuss the structure of the scolex in the next slide. Neck is the portion from where these strobilas are formed. Strobilas are also called as proglottids. Are the segments of the teniasolium body is also called as proglottids. So it is the portion where the strobila or the proglottids are formed. Proliferation of strobila is there. The process is called strobilization. So this is the growth zone or the budding zone. A bud of each proglottid comes out and then goes down, and anterior to it another one is formed. It will go down and another one will be formed. So this is the region from where all the proglottids are formed and they are pushed backward to the posterior end of the body. So this proglottid was once formed over there. Now it has reached over there. The segments of the strobila are 800 to 900 in numbers. As I have already told you during the characteristic feature of the phylum Platyhelminths, that they don't have the true segmentation. So their segments are not fixed. So you can say they have a range of 800 to 900 segments. Sometimes the same Teniasolium may have the 900, sometimes they may have the 800, sometimes they may have in between number because at the posterior most end they may detach and uh, go away from the host where the parasite was living so that it may spread the or the infection to the new one also. These proglottids are 800 to 900. Proglottid is basically one segment, and each segment is uh, complete one unit. Every segment is complete one unit in the with respect to that each is having a reproductive system of its own. So every segment is having its own reproductive system. So it's a complete unit of the body having genitalia and surrounding tissue. But this segmentation is pseudometamerism, as I have already told you. All segments remain connected internally by muscles. So the connection between one segment and another is with the help of the muscles, respiratory system, the blood vessels, and the nerve cords. So nerve cords and all these are the features which may connect, which may continue from one to other, but the reproductive system is separate in each uh, proglottid, you can say. These uh, proglottids are the stobula are of three types. Anterior portion is having immature proglottids. They are 200 in numbers. They are youngest one because they are just formed from the neck. They are broader than long. So they have much more broad portion than the length of than their length. They don't have the reproductive organs. So yet, because they are new, they are young, they don't have developed reproductive system. Then next is the mature proglottids. The mature proglottids range from 100 to 115 number. So they are squarish. They are as broad as long, and among them uh, they are 415 number. Sorry, the among the 450, the anterior 100 to 150 are only male. So it means when the reproductive system starts developing in them, it is the male reproductive system which developed first. This is called as proto-entry. So proto-entry condition is there, and after 100 to 150, rest all are hermaphrodite. Female reproductive system also get developed. So both the reproductive systems may exist in rest all of them. No, these are the major proglottids. They do have a papilla. Papilla is just a raised portion. If you just closely look at the middle portion, the proglottid is raised. So it is a protuberance of the raised portion, which is called as genital papilla. This genital papilla bear a pore. So this is called the genital pore, through which the male reproductive system and female reproductive system opens outside. Genital papilla is successive proglottid is situated alternatively on the right and left. So if this segment is having the genital papilla on this side, other will have on this side. So they are situated on alternate side. One is having on the right side, other is having on the left side. Then the third type of strobila, the posterior-most type of strobila are the gravid proglottids. They are 150 to 315 numbers. They are much longer than broad, so they are opposite to that of the younger are the immature proglottids, which were more broad than long. They are more long than broad, having highly branched uterus. So in them, reproductive system has degenerated. Only the uterus have remained, which is filled with the fertilized egg. So that's why they will detach from the posteriormost end of their body, and they will come out from the parasite in which the because this is Taenia solium is endoparasite, lives in the intestine, and the gravid proglottid with the fertilized egg will come out, and then when it will come out, then the development of the larva will start, and later on it after a few development of the larval stages, they may again enter into the new host and start new life cycle. So this is the scolex that we have to discuss, uh, because I have already told you that the scolex was the portion. If you look closely at the scolex is the organ of attachment. For the sake of attachment, it has four suckers. You can see over here, and then you have the two rows of the hooks present on a raised portion called as rostrum. These hooks are again of two types. One are the small hook, and then you have the large hook. The small hook and the large hook have both have the same structure. That is, they are having a handle at the posterior end, then they are having a blade or the, and then they are having the base. Blade directed outward. This blade is directed outward, so it may pierce into the uh, tissue of the host for the attachment. So these are the large or the larger hooks are present on the inner side, whereas smaller hooks are present on the outer side. If you closely look at, they are present on the inner side. You just see their handle, it is more inner side, and then you can see the small, they are present at the outer side. So the formation of strobila at the neck is called strobilization, and the detachment of the gravid proglottids from the posterior end is called apolysis. Why apolysis takes place? In order to transfer the developing embryo, because the gravid proglottids have only the uterus in which the fertilized eggs are there, in which the embryo is developing. So they want to transfer the embryo to exterior, from where it shall enter the secondary host, that is the pig. So another benefit of the apolysis is that it will limit the size of the body. No, as far as the reproductive system is concerned, I have already told you they are hermaphrodite, and both the sexes are present in them, and male develops earlier than female, so it is protoandrous. Male doesn't have any thing to store the sperm, they don't have the seminal vesicle, whereas the female reproductive system will have a special part called seminal receptacle where the sperms will be stored. So this is the digestive system, sorry, reproductive system. So let us look first at the male reproductive system, because within the same segment you may find, because they are hermaphrodite, both the female and male reproductive system is present. So let us see the male first. So many large number of round testes you can see are present within the same segment. These testes are then leading into small tube-like structures. They are opening into small tube-like structures called vas efferentia. So many vas efferentia from a segment may join to form a large tube called the vas deferens. This vas deferens then at its anterior end, this was the raised portion that I have already discussed with you, the genital papilla. At near the genital papilla, it has a muscular irreversible cirrus or the penis. It is irreversible because normally it is present inside the segment at the time of uh, the the copulation. It will come out, so it is irreversible in nature. Then it will open. This vas deferens will open into, or you can say the penis will open into a common chamber, cup-like chamber called the genital arterium. So genital arterium is a common gonopore where both female as well as male reproductive systems open outside. Then just look at the female reproductive system. You have the one ovary, but it is bilobed. It has two lobes. Ovary is one, but it has two lobes. Two lobes are joined with the help of the ovarian bridge, are called the ovarian isthmus. Then from the center of the ovarian isthmus comes out oviduct. This oviduct is receiving the vagina coming from the common gonopore, and this vagina, before reaching to the oviduct, it slightly enlarged and form the seminal receptacle. This is the portion where sperms are stored. Male doesn't have any structure to store the sperm, but sperms are stored in the female reproductive system in the seminal receptacle. Then, after joining with this uh, the seminal receptacle, then leads into the fertilization duct. So, because sperms will be stored over there, when egg will reach over there, then it will be fertilized. Then the fertilization duct as well as this oviduct, they will slightly go downward and will meet a feature called as ootype. This ootype is surrounded by the glands called the Mehal's gland. Mehal's glands are the gland which will lubricate the eggs so that the eggs may pass without any friction. They may not get damaged. They may pass into the uterus, and then this uh, ootype is in turn receiving the vital line duct from the vital line gland. This is the gland which will gives rise to the yolk portion of the egg. As I have already told in the characteristic feature that the eggs are produced in the ovaries but they are yolkless, and the yolk is given by the vital line gland over here. And then the yolk will be deposited on the egg, and then the egg will move through this tube into the uterus. This is the uterus where the fertilized egg will be there. Now, after fertilization, you will see that when the fertilization has taken place, rest all reproductive system, the male and female will get vanished from the segments, and only the well-developed uterus with a large amount number of the fertilized egg will remain in the gravid proglottids. And the gravid proglottids, as I have already told you, are the last proglottids that may detach from the posterior end of the body through the process called apolysis, and they will come out, and the because they have the fertilized egg, so they the developing embryo will start developing, and they may search the secondary host, that is the pig, for entering into the pig to complete the rest of the life cycle. This is all about the reproductive system of the uh, Taenia solium as well as the structure of the Taenia solium.